Live from the Akuya Abuahima studio here in Ghana's capital, Accra. This is the Founders Day edition of News Night. I am Bright Nana Addo. Coming up in the next 60 minutes. President Nana Addo gives his strongest conviction that Ghana's ailing economy will bounce back sooner than later as the country marks its Founders Day today. Some female students of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology reveal they live in fear after two separate incidents of gang rape on campus. And also in business, the director of the Institute of Statistical Service, Social and Economic Research, Professor Peter Kweti, projects that food inflation will drop due to increased rainfall induced harvest. On the international front, Chinese military fires ballistic missiles in exercise state media framed as a war plan rehearsal around Taiwan. And we appreciate your time with us here on the news tonight. First in the bulletin, the LPG marketing companies have finally called off their strike following cabinet decision to lift the ban on the construction of new LPG stations across the country. The group is, however, expected to meet the Minister of Energy tomorrow in an attempt to resolve other concerns raised by them. Very small in the floor report.
And open our station for business with immediate effect.
The decision to call off the 4 days strike follows the lifting of the over 5 years ban on construction of new and ongoing gas distribution centers across the country. At a press briefing held in Accra, the Vice President of the LPG Marketers Association, Gabi Kumi, indicated the outfit welcomes the swift response by the government.
We also wish to thank the President, His Excellency Nana Addo, the Minister for Energy, the Chief Executive of MPA, Dr. Mustafa Abdul Hamid, for reversing a decision that has cost us the lives of some of our members and millions of Ghana citizens.
Though applauding the timely intervention made, he further lamented on the losses made by some members as a result of the ban.
For the past 5 years, we had been knocking on the doors of government to consider reopening these stations, lifting the ban on these stations they had given us permit to construct. These stations that our industry had sunk $10 million into so that we could recoup the investment and repay the loans that we are taking from the bank. All the effort we made to get government to lift that ban proved futile.
It is expected that members of the LPG Tanker Drivers Association will on Friday, August 5, 2022, respond to the decision made by the marketers after a consultative meeting with the Ministry of Energy.
We are now joined on phone by Gabi Kumi. He is Vice President of Liquefied Petroleum Gas Marketers Association here in Ghana. Good evening to you, Gabi, and welcome to this night. So briefly take us through the outstanding concerns you still want addressed besides the lifting of the ban on the construction of some filling stations here in Ghana.
Well, good evening and thank you for having me. I mean, our main concern, based on which we went on strike, was the lifting of the ban. Of course, there are other concerns, but we believe that those concerns could be ironed out at tomorrow's meeting with the National Petroleum Authority. So the main concern has been addressed by government lifting of the ban. And we appreciate that, though it came very late.
And I wanted to find out that aside the lifting of bans on the construction of filling stations here in Ghana, what other concerns were you drumming home?
Well, as marketers, that was our concern, but the drivers also have certain concerns, especially with a new tracking system that has been introduced. And that is creating a lot of confusion, and it's causing a lot of drivers to lose their jobs and all that. So that is the main outstanding issue that we need to speak to the authorities tomorrow. That is why we are going for a meeting tomorrow, and I'm sure by tomorrow we should be able to get that one to behind us, so the drivers can start working.
All right. Now, with regards to the tracking devices, the concern is that your drivers have on numerous occasions been accused of diverting fuels consignment. Why then are you kicking against it?
Yeah, not kicking against. Nobody is kicking against the tracking system, but the tracking system has defects, and that is what we are talking about. Nobody wants to kick against. We are business people. We also appreciate any intervention by the authorities to ensure that we bring sanity into the system. But if that intervention is creating problems for all of us, there is a need for us to fix that problem. So we are not kicking against the tracking system as a policy of MPA to get the products tracked. But there are genuine issues, and I think MPA even admit to these issues that needs to be addressed. So let nobody have the impression that we don't want the product to be tracked. In fact, we as marketers, the tracking devices and the tracking system really helps us a lot. We do a lot with that system, and it's really help in managing our stocks and all that. So we appreciate that, but the fact that there is some problems and some defects with the system, we need to address those ones. Then that is what we are talking about.
And what are these problems you've identified as a group?
One of the major problems we've identified is that if, for instance, per safety regulations in the industry, if a driver drives for about 3-4 hours, he needs to park the car and rest for some time. So, for instance, if you load a driver from Accra and he's going to Kumasi, he gets to Nkoko, he parks the car and rests for about an hour or two. The tracking device will produce a report that says that the goods has been discharged at Nkoko instead of Accra, instead of Kumasi. And that has caused even some of our members to fire our drivers. But when you go deep to do further investigation, you realize that it was a fault of the tracking device and not the driver. And this has caused about 70-something drivers losing their jobs. And that is why the drivers are very, very, very unhappy with that system. I mean, we have the tracking system has been in the system for the past 6 or 7 years. But what we are saying is that a new tracking device has been introduced, and that is what is creating that problem. So we need to fix it. And as I did indicate, we are very confident that tomorrow when we meet with the authorities, we should be able to find a solution to that.
All right, great to speak to you tonight here on the news. And so Gabi Kumi is the Vice President for LPG Marketing Association here in Ghana. Away from that, now some female students of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology say they are now living in fear following recent gang rape incidents at the school. While some blame poor security, others say students must ensure their own safety. Abdul Basis reports that the students are asking for stiffer punishment to deter others.
Last month, a police officer stationed at Bomso and a KNUST student were arrested for allegedly gang raping a first-year student of the school. Joel Osei Owusu, a level 400 business administration student, alleged to have lured the victim into his room at Ultimate Hostel and forcibly had sexual intercourse with her. 6 students of the university were remanded on August 3 after they were arraigned at the Asokore Mampon District Court. The suspects were accused of raping a first-year student. This is the second time a KNUST student has been charged with raping another student at the school. Joel later invited his friend, whom the victim highly suspected to be a policeman at the Bomso police station, into the room. General Lance Corporal Frank Edupoku also allegedly forcibly had sex with the lady without her consent. The incident is said to have occurred on Tuesday, July 19 at about 2:30 p.m. Metro News Abdul Basit reports the students are asking for stiffer punishments to deter others.
One thing that came in my mind is the security of the school. How everything is going, that things will happen, people will not see. So one thing that just came in my mind, that the security nowadays is very poor. Yesterday I was going to even take my bath and I was telling my roommates that, hey, what if I go out and these people grab me? So I was just afraid.
They have to be punished. Yeah, I have to say that they have to be punished because what they did is not good. I don't know about about what happened. I don't know the girl side and I don't know the boy side, but what they did was not fair.
The girl's boyfriend is part of the rape, so I think girls on campus shouldn't go into people's hostels without anyone. Yes, that's what I think. You shouldn't go alone and all that. You should at least have someone to work with. I think that's it.
Meanwhile, the management of the school are yet to comment on the incident.
And the Education Directorate in the Manya Krobo area is calling for a swift intervention into the blackout in the area. In a situational report cited by Metro News, the Education Director in Lower Manya Krobo, Samuel Tete, reviews the blackout is having an adverse effect on the schools in the area. Here are details of this report, and I'm going to see them on your screen very soon. And it says, visited 3 of the senior high schools to have a first-hand information on the ground with regards to the electricity problem on the Krobo land and also monitor the WASI practicals that took off today. The exams is going on smoothly in all the schools except with the following challenges. And it says, 1, very dark examination rooms, marking visibility very poor, or making visibility very poor. No preps for the students. They have to hire a generator to power the deep freezer in the kitchen to preserve the fish and other perishable food items at the total cost of 900 Ghana cedi per day. And it says dark examination rooms, machines to be used for the practical work can't be operated, hence students can't complete their work. Tried using the generator, they have but to no avail, no press for students. And this was a report gathered from the Accra Senior Technical School in the area. And it says same from the Accra Senior Technical School. It says they are currently arranging to transport their deep freezer in the kitchen to Akusi Methodist SHTS for preservation of the perishable food items. Have a plan for power generation but yet to be connected due to financial constraints. Have a challenge getting water from the mechanized borehole. And at the Krobo Girls SHS, it says have a plan for power generation that is fueled by the PTA at an amount of 1,500 Ghana cedi daily for pumping water, and students prep for from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. And in conclusion, it says the electricity problem is having an adverse effect on our schools. The students don't have light to study in the evening. The students don't have light to study in the evening again, and perishable food items are affected. Increased expenditure on generator and fuel. Let's now talk about today being the Founders Day here in Ghana. And Ghana's President Nana Addo has expressed confidence that the economy will be back on track. Addressing some veterans at the Legion to mark this year's Founders Day, the president said measures being put in place by this government will repair the economy, which he says has been crippled by COVID-19 and the Russian invasion of Ukraine.
August 4 every year marks Founders Day, a day set aside to commemorate the contributions of Ghanaian patriots, especially the Big Six, who fought for Ghana's independence. It is also the date for the formation of the Aborigines Rights Protection Society by John Mensah Saba in 1897 and the formation of the UGCC in 1947 by J.B. Dankwa and George Alfred Grant. At a luncheon given in honor of senior citizens, President Akufo-Addo expressed gratitude to the forebears and individuals working to advance the cause of the country. Despite being behind the Asian tigers, the president was certain that through resilience, Ghana will be at par with her contemporaries.
Since the attainment of independence 65 years ago, we have bemoaned the fact that our nation has not lived up to its vast potential. In countries, especially those in Southeast Asia, such as Korea and Malaysia, which gained their independence around the same time as we did, have outstripped us in terms of development. In spite of the many obstacles we've had to surmount, including prolonged periods of instability and military rule, fueled by several coups d'etats, one thing I continue to be proud of is the can-do spirit of the Ghanaian and our determination not to be bogged down by events and allow the circumstances and challenges of today to shape our collective future.
He also assured Ghanaians of economic rebound.
The most recent of these challenges has been the COVID-19 pandemic, which has compromised the economic gains chalked in recent years. As a result of the pandemic and its impact on the economy, things are not what we would like as far as the economy is concerned. They've been worsened even further by the effects of the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Government has, however, outlined a series of measures, including seeking the assistance of the International Monetary Fund in the short term to help repair our finances. I am confident that we will revive and revitalize the economy and put our nation back on the path of rapid economic growth, a scenario we had become accustomed to in the last 3 immediate years before the pandemic struck.
Meanwhile, the state has conferred awards on frontline health workers who supported the fight against COVID-19, as well as those who have distinguished themselves in other fields.
So, ever heard of Oluman Boogie? Well, on Founders Day, President Nana Addo proved he still got some dance moves when he took to the center stage to dance to old high-life tunes. The 78-year-old president showed off his dancing skills at the state-organized event for senior citizens.
Blasts from the past. Haven't we missed legendary high-life musician Pozo Hayes? Oh boy, he serenaded his audience, mainly senior citizens, at a state luncheon to celebrate Founders Day. And the Siningwado man got the president to his feet. He and former First Lady Nana Addo Rollins shot the dance floor to the admiration of all. Indeed, Nana is a showboy. Any challenger?
There you have it, Ghana's sitting President Nana Addo on the dance floor. So, Metro News reporter Sarah Akwabefi has been out and about to see how some Ghanaians observed the Founders Day holiday. It appears life has bounced back to the Labadi beach here in Accra. Meanwhile, people who sold food and other items at the beach said market has been slow compared to what happened last year.
It's holiday, so I decided to come over and have fun and feel the sea breeze too. Just a normal leisure time. The big they are the legend of Ghana. They are the one. They are the one that fought for us, for our freedom, and just put our justice into our hands for us to live the free world. Yeah.
It's Thursday, and then we are supposed to be in school or at work, but since it's Founders Day, we are here to celebrate the Big Six for what they have done for us so far. So we are really grateful, and then we are here to have fun. We've been working since, and then we need to release some stress. So
any Thursday and SIO. Yeah, any Thursday and SIO holiday, one or two, and stress in work or so bad, more relaxed. I can't. Adechi sabe to edwuma so.
Basically, on a normal day, personally, I work from Monday to Sunday, so I don't have time to rest. And so if it's a holiday and then I don't have anywhere to go, I just feel like it's time to have fun and release stress. That's all. It's nothing really big.
Holiday day husu crowd. As up to now, Sanka ha crowd bomb crowd, but and Nankasa scanny one wintino. Omo baby mukuta money ma, Hanema no muntimin 20. Obi kuta money ma mon torre so. Omo bedona do mon sanaba.
Watch live on Newsnight here on Metro TV, on DSTV channel 277. A quick 10. We will be back. Stay with us. Welcome back. Now, North Town Constituency MP Samuel Okudita Blacko has launched an initiative which you see a number of his constituents trained in different aspects of works.
Teenage pregnancy and unemployment are still prevalent in the North Tongu constituency. Fishing and farming still remains the core means of employment. The youth in the constituency, who are neither farmers or fisherfolks, struggle to find jobs. It is in this regard that the MP of the area has solicited the support of GIZ and Africa Skills Hub to offer skills training for the constituents.
Some way, somehow, our people who were celebrated for many, many decades, some way, somehow, we seem to have become complacent and we are resting on our oars, and the young Togolese artisans, craftsmen, professionals seem to be dominating the space now. You meet a lot of people in construction and they tell you that they prefer the Togolese people.
The NP believes that, together with key stakeholders, they can empower and create more jobs for the youth in the area.
What should we do to take our pride of place? Because that was a reputation we had that really helped our young people get economically empowered, because they were the first choice.
The director of Africa Skills Hub says they are ready to support all forms of skills development that fall within their domain.
For the next 8 weeks, what are we doing here with the young people of Norton? We are supporting them with a number of series of workshops. So one around TVET skills training in ICT, in tailoring, and also in hairdressing. So supporting about 60 young people in this space.
The director of GIZ believes the GIZ Migration Employment Project will help the youth to escape the life-threatening risk associated with migrating to other countries.
This project has a migration undertone, and basically the idea is instead of our young people traveling on or using the high seas or the desert to go on to these journeys, which may end them up being dead and we losing the human resource and human capital that the country needs. Why don't us rather capacitate them so that the greener pastures that they say they are going to seek out there, they would find them here in the country.
The district chief executive of the area, Osborne Divine Fenu, also expressed worry over the high level of teenage pregnancy in the area and called on the youth to welcome the program by the MP. Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa also presented fresh laptops to some senior high school prefects.
Now, the National Health Insurance Authority has reviewed upwards the agreed 2020 increment of medicine and service tariffs for service providers by 30% effective the 1st of last month. This was after the scheme and stakeholders undertook a market survey of prices and agreed on the figure largely on the basis of inflation and some other variables. There is more in the flow report filed by Ashanti Regional Correspondent Abdul Basit Suleiman.
The media review meeting of the Ashanti Regional Directorate of the National Health Insurance Authority was to enable the management and staff of the scheme examine the essence of the operations from January to June this year. It was also to appreciate the enviable role the region is playing towards the growth of the National Health Insurance Scheme. As at June this year, the region registered, renewed and issued 2,837,647 cards to members. This represents approximately 17% contribution to all NHIS active members in the country. A total of 617,094 members had renewed their membership through the mobile renewal platform. Ashanti region continues to lead in the synchronization of the NHIA Ghana cards. Speaking to Metro News on the sidelines of the meeting, Acting Ashanti Regional Director of the NHIA, Kojo Dumo, said the National Health Insurance Authority has reviewed upwards the agreed 2020 increment of medicine and service tariffs for service providers by 30%, effective the 1st of last month. This was after the scheme and stakeholders undertook a market survey of prices and agreed on the figure largely on the basis of inflation and some other variables.
As review upward, I'm talking the medicines that our clients get from the health facilities, including the hospitals. The price has been increased to 30%. This to reflect market prices.
Kojo Dumo advised against co-payments and illegal fee collections and urged all facilities in the region to desist from such practices which have the tendency to reduce the confidence of the citizenry in the NHIS.
If you are a client and you come and register with the National Health Insurance, about 95% of diseases in Ghana is covered by the health insurance. So when you go to the facility, you are not supposed to pay. Unless, of course, your ailment or the kind of drugs that they are giving to you is out of the health insurance bracket. So with the 30% adjustment, we expect that it will cushion our provider to provide services to our clients without any fees being paid at the point of.
Now, the first Ghanaian full professor of nursing, Professor Lydia Aziato, has advocated a comprehensive insurance coverage for breast cancer patients to improve affordability and access to screening and treatment. She was speaking at a lecture at the University of Ghana in Accra.
In 2020, breast cancer was ranked first in both incidence and mortality in Africa, with 16.8% new cases and 12.1% deaths recorded. The lecture was on the topic, the intervention of subjectivism and patient-centered nursing for breast cancer care and pain management. Professor Lydia Aziato, who is also the Dean of Nursing and Midwifery School, explained that the cost of laboratory investigations for the process was not covered by the NHIS. She said in some instances, patients are compelled to foot the bill for the total treatment due to the limited drugs the scheme provided.
Yes, faith has consistently been a major finding in our research and is congruent with the evidence that most Ghanaians are religious. There's a woman with breast cancer entrusted their treatment to God. Women prayed and offered sacrifices to invoke the power of God for healing and financial support for treatment due to the high cost of treating breast cancer. Family members and friends also demonstrated faith in different ways to support women to cope with the stress associated with breast cancer diagnosis and treatment. One said, God, your will be done in this. I entrusted everything to God.
She advocated that the health insurance scheme should be expanded to cover all aspects of treatment and payment to health facilities.
It was evident that the National Health Insurance is supposed to cover surgery and chemotherapy. However, on the ground, the drugs were mostly not available. So the women had to buy or use their own resources to buy the drugs. And therefore, here again, I'm advocating and making a plea that the health insurance scheme should be strengthened, especially the availability of drugs, especially chemotherapy drugs, which are quite expensive.
She further advocated the implementation of stigma reduction interventions to ensure continuity of positive attitudes towards breast cancer patients.
Now, the Food and Drugs Authority has organized training on clinical trials for some African countries as part of the Regional Center of Regulatory Excellence to build capacity. The countries that benefited are Benin, Guinea, Gabon, Cameroon, and Ghana.
The 4-week training is aimed at equipping African regulators and researchers with improved technical globally accepted standards for the conduct of regulation of clinical trials. The head of product technology at the FDA, Seth Sneak, who spoke on behalf of the chief executive, said the training would increase capacity in clinical trials in Africa and promote access to much needed medicinal treatment.
Which is a collaboration between the Food and Drugs Authority Ghana and the School of Public Health, University of Ghana, seeks to build capacity in clinical trials in Africa and improve access to much needed pipeline therapeutic medicines by harmonizing clinical trial regulatory requirements. This is to ensure that African citizens have access to quality, safe and efficacious medication.
The Dean of School of Public Health, Professor Kwesi Tope, noted the importance of training as the game changer for the continent. He therefore urged participants to pay attention and take the sessions seriously.
Actually attest to a lot of work that the FDA has done in this country. And I think this, for me, is an important game changer for our continent. And as an RCOR, the FDA seeks to build the regulatory capacity here within Africa and also to facilitate the review of clinical trials.
A research officer with the FDA, Mavis Boachi Yadum, noted the importance of training, which has for the first time brought French-speaking countries.
Some notable achievements of the committee are the development of guidelines of assessment and registration of herbal products for selected diseases using basic pharmacological procedures. 2, development of the content of the annual Good Clinical Practice Training Program for clinical trial researchers or investigators. This session of the RCOR is truly special and promises to be exciting. This is because it is the first time our Francophone speakers have joined us for all this important training.
She encouraged them to make use of the best practices and knowledge acquired in their work as regulators.
Minister for Lands and Natural Resources Samuel Abu Jinapo has inaugurated a committee to oversee the planning and implementation of the Green Street project, which is set to commence immediately.
The committee has been charged with the responsibility of identifying principal or major streets and avenues in the cities where trees will be planted, picking out the resilient and fast-growing tree species to be planted in each of the regional capitals of the country, and also developing detailed strategies, work plan and budget for the project, including strategies for nurturing and protecting the trees planted. The Lands Minister tasked the members of the committee to act virtuously in helping the government accomplish its aim for the project. Abu Jinapo, the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, has inaugurated a committee to oversee the planning and implementation of the Green Street project, which is set to commence immediately.
Ladies and gentlemen, a look around some of the major cities across the world reveals an intentional planting of particular types of trees to add to the aesthetics of the city. London in the United Kingdom, Paris in France, and to some extent Cairo in Egypt, Abuja in Nigeria, and Abidjan in Cote d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast, are just a few examples. Government has therefore decided to implement this Green Street project as part of measures to beautify our cities and contribute to the global climate action.
The first phase of the project, according to the minister, will see to the planting of selected trees on principal streets in the major cities of Accra, Kumasi, Tamale, and Sekondi Takoradi before being extended to the 16 regional capitals.
Still this night here on Metro TV at 10, we will be back. Welcome back. Now in business, the director of the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research, Professor Peter Kweti, has projected that food inflation will drop due to increased rainfall-induced harvest.
Food inflation is quite significant, and given that in the last 2 quarters, that's where we see food production increasing. We rely so much on rain-fed agriculture. This year, luckily for us, the rains have been good, although we've not had much fertilizer, but we rely quite well on, or significantly on rain-fed agriculture. So it's likely food production will pick up, and therefore food inflation would minimize a bit, and we are likely to meet that inflation target. Yeah, the grains, we import tomato and a few other things, but if you look at it, the graph I have shown you, it tells you that they are distressed already. Mali, Niger, they are quite distressed, so they then turn to us for some grains and other food imports. So that is going to be quite challenging. Address your food sufficiency first before you look at your neighbor. So yes, we need to be cautious, but it's a temporary measure. I don't think permanently we should ban import, but temporarily to resolve this whilst we enhance domestic food production.
Still in business, according to the chief executive of CBC Properties, Chris Papo, real estate agents are not allowed to take a flat rate of 10% on rented real estate properties.
Per the Act, if you are an agent, do not do your own background and send clients to wrong places, they have a right to sue you. And you are supposed to be surcharged. And now, we are even looking at the point where you leave money down as, a collateral for your business. So if something goes wrong, the government or the board or authority can use that to defray you. Now, every estate agent has to have an insurance, even to operate. You have to buy, like we do for our cars. You, as an agent, you have to be insured, because anything happens, it's the insurance company that will take up that, blame. So all of this was geared to make sure that the client doesn't suffer much in any real estate transaction that comes in. You cannot take 10% across board. So if I'm a buyer's agent for any transaction, it's 5%. If I'm the seller's agent, it's 5%. If I'm agent for both, I need to let any of them know.
Disclosure, full disclosure.
Yes, that I'm for both. You're either paying 2.5 here and 2.5 there. But when it comes to rentals, because the values are low, people have raised that to 10% of the rental value. Or 1 month in lieu of rent.
So live here on Newsnight. A quick break, we'll be back with sports. Welcome back. In sports tonight, Ghana's Paul Joseph Amoah has qualified for the finals of the 200 meters at the ongoing 2022 Commonwealth Games after winning the heat race. Amoah was full of joy after the qualification.
I just want to get out of the game as fast as I could, just go on the straight away and just, stay tall, stay relaxed, and come to the line in a good position to get a good lane in the next round.
So going into the semis, is there anything you're going to do differently?
So, to stay healthy, finish the game healthy.
And then coming from the World Championships, I know things didn't really turn out the way you planned, but what positives and lessons did you take from there?
Everything is a learning process. Like today doesn't go well, but I just look at what you do well, try to continue to go back to practice.
Still staying at the ongoing 2022 Commonwealth Games in Birmingham, Wales men hockey team walloped their Ghanaian counterparts by 6-1 in an interesting pool match. Let's see the highlights of the game.
Conditions for playing hockey on this magnificent pitch. Temperature, wow, it's it's Wales against Ghana.
In.
Here he goes again, the skipper. Nice ball forward, and Tete's made a nice move that's given some space down this left-hand side. Double back in from Biden into the circle. Shot comes in, good save. Follow-up from Tete is missed. Biden on the reverse stick, scores! And Ghana are in front! And Wales are going to go upstairs for the swing and the miss. They're going to go upstairs for the swing and the miss.
Dancing now. Look at Ghana dancing. Dangerous.
Well, it's the swing, but it's the fall that.
It's not that. That's a great finish.
Again, it goes to Furlong, who stays central, and this time Furlong rips it past the left-hand glove of Duisburg, and Wales are level. Again, this time they go to the left-hand side. Furlong has an absolute Ghana to go to down that left-hand side, and it all becomes a bit fraught and tight, and as a result, Welsh turn it over, Shipley inside. And Francis through, and in it goes again. Dolan Gray getting in on the score sheet. But it wasn't to be in the end. The final score of this Pool B clash, Wales 6, Ghana 1.
And now in entertainment, theatre in Ghana has come a long way from oral, traditional storytelling to properly staged plays. This and many more coming up in entertainment. On Intimate tonight, theatre in Ghana has come a long way from oral traditional storytelling to properly staged plays. Whilst Ghanaians continue to appreciate stage plays, the theatre industry requires more support. Speaking to Kwabena Yeboah, head of production for Rebound Productions on Intimate Review here on Metro TV, he stated that more funds are needed for stage productions.
The appreciation for theatre in Ghana is growing. Many more people are getting introduced to the modern theatre, which have all been modernized from traditional storytelling, where villagers will gather and perform stories. Although Ghanaians are patronizing stage plays, which has come a long way, there's more to what the theatre industry needs. Speaking to Kwabena Yeboah, head of productions for Roverman Production on Entertainment Review, on how to get theatre in Ghana to thrive, he expressed that while unity in theatre is key, more investment is required to support stage productions.
I think unity amongst us as theatre groups is key. Again, there should be a lot of grants if there is, because I think the basic question is people need money to be able to fund their dreams.
Yeah.
Without it, it's not going anywhere. You might have a great script, it will forever remain a script if you don't have the money to do that production. And cost of living is very high. So the same theater you went to ask yesterday, that was costing you 30,000, a week later it's costing you 45. Yeah. And so it's very difficult. The basic question is people need money. If they could get some bit of help, I'm sure we'll be able to get more productions. And again, they are doing well. I think there's more support from each other now than it was before. We stop seeing ourselves as competitors with other people. Yeah. Because if your show is not good, I can tell you that the people that came to your show, they are not coming to my show. Yeah. Because if they didn't enjoy your show, they are not coming to my show. Yeah. So I pray your show goes well, so that the next time when they hear another theater show, they want to come. Yeah. So I think that's basically where we need to start.
Now, Nigerian actors Cynthia Okereke and Clemson Cornell have been released, according to the Actors Guild of Nigeria. The two actors were released by the abductors who were touched by the Spirit of God to set them free unharmed. The Guild has since arranged for medical checks and psychological support for the two. It has also urged members to be security conscious. Now, on July 29, 2022, the news went viral after Mona Lisa Chinda, AGN's Director of Communications, announced that Cynthia Okereke and Clemson Cornell, a.k.a. Agbogidi, did not return from their film location at Ozala Town in Enugu State in Nigeria. International news is next. Bamako, Mali's bustling capital of more than 2.5 million people on the banks of the Niger River, is on heightened alert as jihadi attacks have moved perilously close to the city. At least 15 extremist attacks hit Mali in June and July. the most daring when jihadi fighters attacked Kati, the country's largest military base, just 15 kilometers, approximately 9 miles outside the capital. South Sudan's unity government has announced a 2-year extension of the post-civil war transitional period due to end in 2023 in a new roadmap to the peace deal denounced by some foreign sponsors. China fired multiple missiles towards waters near northeastern and southwestern Taiwan on Thursday, the island's defense ministry has stated, as Beijing announced that hosting U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi will cost them a lot. And that's it for the News Tonight here on News Night. I am Bryce Nana Addo. Thank you so much for watching. A happy Founders Day to you. Bye.